Still can't figure out how to turn off these stupid notifications.
I sent it to you, I thought.
You probably did, but do you think I actually looked at it and read it? No, I didn't. I thought, oh wow, this is awesome. I can't hear you. Are you on, Michael? Are you in the what's it called? The voice channel?
I don't see him in here yet.
He's on the other channel, but I hate it when I leave a channel and then I can't find the channel that I was just in, and it's.
Hello.
Hey, you are.
How's it going?
I am doing great. Actually, no, I'm a little under the weather, so you're gonna hear me like slurping down coffee to feel better. But no, I'm very excited to be here again, guys. This will be fun.
And slurping down coffee so you won't feel as put on the spot. Because I'm doing the same thing. You got the bot started?
Everything's good to go.
This is so fun, isn't it, guys?
I like it.
You know what I mean? Like we can just chat,
Hang out,
just rap about Quidd, you know?
Absolutely, and we don't have to do all that weird typing and making all those mistakes, and our fingers don't cramp, and all that stuff. Awesome.
I'm excited. I think I'm really glad we're doing this second time on voice, and let's keep the evolution going. Anyway, I will be quiet. I'm ready to help answer any questions or give any clarity that I can.
Okay, well, I have some printed out questions the users were asking throughout the week. I'll start there. Transcat wants to know, since there's only 2 months of coins remaining, is there a timeline to repair the over 500 plus broken packs in Trek Valiant, CDH, and more? So many first editions from 2016 to 18 are needed, as they can be sold for cash and to complete sets. And he kind of on about wanting just to know what the remaining timeline was.
Short answer is I don't know. Like, we're aware there are broken packs out there. I don't know, Spider, if those are available in coins. Therefore, the coin wallet could be used to spend on them before March, or if they would be brought back for cash. So that is unknown at this point.
Okay.
But what I would say is I think we should all hold firm to that March 31st date, and assuming everyone hasn't already burned their conversions, I think it's just safe to sort of save one last conversion of the 3 up until the 31st. And again, guys, like just zooming out, we could have not done this, but we looked at it like coin wallets have a lot of value in them, and it would be silly for us not to find a way to help transfer your value in coins into spending power in cash. So hopefully everyone has used those conversions wisely, and hopefully we're in a good position where on the 31st of March we can sort of officially retire the coin wallet. Also, just what we talk about internally, just to open it up, is we obviously want to be in a position where inventory that is maybe low value, that maybe wouldn't command whatever the floor price is for listing cash, like 10 cents, that can still transact. So what I would say is the March 31st is hard and firm, as is the 3 conversions. So please save that last conversion. We are very much watching the markets and looking at certain functionality, so that in a cash-based aftermarket post-coin world, we don't have illiquid tiers of inventory.
So when those are brought back, if they're brought back after the fact, once the conversion takes place, we can list or sell those for maybe a lower price in cash.
Exactly, but if you can make a note about those packs, I think that's a very valid request to see about bringing those packs back before the 31st.
Okay. All right, so the next thing was from Winston Wolf. He said on Twitter, we mentioned the token as part of the roadmap for builders to use. If it can now be spoken of, how will the token affect U.S. users and the entire user base, for that matter? I guess first question is, are we allowed to talk about token?
You all are allowed to. We're just not in a position where we are going to actively market and promote the token to U.S. persons. I don't want to say more about it than that, other than we're other than it's a utility token, and there's going to be value within its integration into the Quidd marketplace, and we're eager to start building. I would say that it's fully possible for the building of the integration to sort of predate the broader promotion of it, and that's going to be our plan, is to build for it first and talk about it only later. And again, guys, nobody wishes they could scream this from the mountaintops more than me, but we are following appropriate guidelines here, and really want to do so. I would also say that we've always felt long term about what we were doing. This period of being relatively quiet is temporary. It isn't meant to last forever. And so, we're gonna do what's right in the short term, and we're gonna recognize there's a very long time horizon, Quidd, and a temporary period of being sort of relatively quiet on things is absolutely worth it in the sort of broad time horizon on which we think. So it's an unfortunate position that we're in, but we're following guidelines. It's the right thing to do, and it's not going to last forever.
Okay. Then we have Cat Lover. I came across a My Little Pony award set that's broken recently. I felt like I had to ask if sets that never actually got released to anyone would count towards 100% channel. They are also asking on behalf of Marvel fans who had an award set not function due to a timing error. So I guess sets that never got released, kick those off of the completion rate.
I don't even know the answer to that. But I've been truly stumped. That's such a good question, because I don't even. And
a good point, though. I mean,
it's not just of what's out there. It's also I'm thinking through the algorithm and how we calculate those things. And okay, so anyway, an excellent question. Consider me stumped. And
okay.
I think what we have to do, Spiders, let's table that. Maybe what we can do, I think that this is really helpful, because what we don't like doing is saying we'll do something and not doing it. That I can't stand. Why don't we, Spider, add that to the notes, and why don't we start out next week's AMA with answers to those questions?
Okay, I will make a note of that one then.
So I feel utterly stumped on that one. But let's definitely follow up, start that out as like old business in the next AMA.
Idea. I noted that too, so that we can start with the old. All right. Okay, King 44. What will happen to all the coin listings when coins are phased out? Will all of them become expired, or will they all be deleted? Would prefer if we didn't have to clear the expired tab after.
Another stumper. No, we've discussed it, but because it is not a full 2 months away, what I can say is we haven't made a decision on that.
It's good though, having them bring these up. That gives us stuff to talk about with the team to figure out.
No, I agree. And let me just zoom out and maybe share our philosophy on it in general, because we do really discuss this quite a bit. We recognize that it's quite intensive in terms of time to list one print at a time, especially if it's a higher edition or a higher print count or print number. You kind of get to this point where it's like, well, I'm going to take the time to list this thing, but is it really worth my time to list it if it's only going to clear for 10 cents? Right. So we know that we don't love it. We really want to make the act of listing from the sell side just much more efficient, right? A box of prints, right? A repack of prints, right? A full set of prints, right? Or you're selling 100 prints for $1, right? That feels like that can be composed quickly. Something that might help ease the seller burden of like print by print by print by print by print. So I think it's fair to say we think a lot about the sell side, excuse me, and how we can make it much more efficient to sell, on Quidd. So like the notion of like having to relist everything, yeah, that feels kind of painful. So when we do take the decision in shorter than 2 months, we'll obviously make sure that it's not a pain in the butt for everyone. And if you guys recall, like it used to be far worse when we first rolled out listings in the cash aftermarket. I think we've set it up now where you don't have to sort of curate your profile page and remove expired or sold listings. That we sort of do that automatically for you. So whatever is actually up for sale is sort of first out there in terms of being seen in your storefront. Really, really good point. And unfortunately, just that cutoff's 2 months away, and so we'll take the decision once we're a little bit closer.
Shane Paris. Question, why not make the mint available on Polygon? There are virtually no fees and it would be a cheaper experience for everyone.
Maybe that's in the works. I mean, look, what I'll say is blockchain's fascinating. Each individual blockchain of like the top maybe 5 or 10 most popular based on like wallets has their own merits. They're really like different ecosystems, and in some ways they're almost like different like little countries. In our heart of hearts, we would make it very possible to import and export your items into those blockchain countries as easy as possible, and with as many countries to access as possible, to extend the metaphor. So I would say it's not really a matter of like if Polygon, it's probably just a matter of when. But I would say that there's one big, on the whole mintables topic, there's one big push, we call it R3, that we've just started, that is going to take on all the work required for mass availability of minting to Ethereum. Whether it's a week, whether it's 4 weeks, 6 weeks, we don't yet have an exact handle on it, but we don't like the fact that I'm currently the only account with the only item that can be put onto Ethereum and showable and sellable on OpenSea and Rarible. So we think a lot about how quickly can we make it such that the number of prints and the number of collectors that can go to Ethereum and back again. We want to, obviously want to make that done the right way, but done it, very, very soon. And there's just a lot of things to sort of sort. Sorry, I had to fix my screen here. There's a lot of things to sort out, just to be clear. One instance of this, to be very transparent as to how we're working through it, is when you mint to Ethereum and it's listed on OpenSea, you don't see the backs of cards. Right? Like that's one thing that we haven't solved for yet, that requires us to pick up the phone and probably call them, and to do the same with Rarible. So while we'd love to sort of press the button right now, and anybody that has a mintable can put it on Ethereum right now, there's still a few things we have to do to make that bridge more seamless. But I would say we did put out a pretty cool video on Twitter that shows it happening, the original mint from the web. And then also, if you've got 4.7 came out, I think 36 hours ago, roughly, you can see the mintables integration in 4.7. It's just really cool to kick out from the mobile app, the Etherscan, or to kick out to the listing on OpenSea and Rarible. We haven't shown it yet, but we actually have unmint working, which I don't think anybody does. But it's really cool where you mint your item to Ethereum, enjoy any interoperability or any additional marketplaces within that blockchain. You can also bring it back. And again, we're not copying and pasting. We're not duplicating. It quite literally is, it's no longer stored with us. It's now stored on chain. And then with the ability to bring it back from the chain to us. So I don't think anyone's doing anything like that. We're proud of it, but there's obviously a lot more work to do to get it done. I think it's weeks. I think it's weeks away, and then it'll be just incredibly exciting. End of February, early March, to see a bunch of Quidd items on OpenSea and see the Quidd collection on CryptoSlam, and fully introduce ourselves to the world of crypto, at least on Ethereum. Okay, next.
Will the cash listing limit be removed or increased when coins are phased out?
We don't know yet. Good question. We just don't know yet. Not a great answer, but yeah, we don't know yet, and we're just going to watch the data and see, and probably make a game day decision around that.
Okay. Well, this one was kind of something we said we'd talk about this week. When will we be able to burn prints? Boy.
That's the next release in the apps. That's 4.8. Burning. The specifications are complete. The designs are done. The engineering team has started on that sprint. The way to think about it is there's how does one burn, and then there's sort of the aftermath of a burn. The first step of how one burns is sort of basically you kind of create a burn pile, either on a per print basis or on a bulk basis. You can then see kind of if there would be store credits that you get for the burn in return. And then you would sort of commit the burn, right? And you can imagine that as a workflow. It's I don't know. I even get tense thinking about it, right? Because a burn is permanent, right? And certainly we see a world where I don't want the dupes. I don't want to break the set, right? So just burn my dupes, keep my lows, and let's move on. But there's still something a little bit scary about pressing that final commit button. We had to invest some time to think through kind of add prints to a burn pile, review the burn pile. Are you super sure you want to do this? Boom, let's do it. So that's kind of all set up and like being coded right now. And the other piece, which is we really heard from the community on this, and we're so glad we got the feedback, is about this sort of aftermath of the burn. How does one know what's been burned and what's not been burned? Theoretically, number 2 could be the new number 1. With that, so there are a lot of sort of cascading knock-on effects to our inventory system in enabling the burn. What I would say that's a positive sign is we've designed a circulation report that would exist on every print detail page. So imagine the print detail page having not just not just info, a sales history, a history of the print itself, and then format, having there be a 5th tab in there, circulation report. So you can really get a sense of the status of like the top 100 prints per edition. So you kind of know like, well, this one above me, this one below me is burned. And we might be able to sneak in a little bit more information on there as well about how accessible the print is. Burned means it's gone, but that might be not dissimilar from a print that's not been burned but is in an account that has been inactive for 4 years. We think we can provide the community a bit more information, not just about burned or not, but also like, does this exist? And I will say, because this came up last week, we are not going to expose the owner. We're not going to expose the owner, full stop. It doesn't mean we won't in the future, but we want more time to think about it. And as part of that thinking process, understand if we were to proceed with showing the owner, that it comes with certain protections for the owner, where maybe by default they're not exposed. And so that was asked last week, and I just want to confirm that for the circulation report, the owner of the print won't be exposed. If it is exposed, it would only come with owner controls that we'd have to build later. Cool.
That was like one of the next questions that you already touched on. That was about an indicator of actual number of prints and circulation along with the CC, but I think we pretty much covered that.
But
So then the
here's
next-
where the oh
Sorry.
sorry here's where like the community could help though, is like it makes for a new denominator, right? Like 1 out of 100 now becomes 1 out of 97 if 3 prints are burned. And I think we're going to lean into exposing it that way. And so what you get on a per item basis is what's the print number, what are the prints in circulation, and then what was the original print count. And then it begins to seem to me, at least, and this is where the community should really give good feedback, is that prints in circulation probably over time takes more, or rather is more important, understand the true scarcity of an item than the original print count. And so you might see a lot more number 1 out of 7. You might even see the strange number 2 out of 1, which we don't really know how to fully deal with yet, but theoretically that could happen with burn. But anyway, it's kicked off. We're excited about it. Destruction is an ownership right, and we're excited to see when it rolls out.
Okay. The next one is, there was a talk last week about an issue with the iOS app where it's refreshing constantly. Remember, Quidd app refreshes every time I switch to another app for more than a few seconds. I think we had talked about it being a bug. Do we have any update on that?
I don't, unfortunately. I think that's one, Jules, where Spider, where let's have maybe you reach out, because we just need more details to reproduce that bug, like the iOS number, version number, all that stuff. So yeah, let's try to debug that sort of offline.
If I can get a video of it or something.
Totally, yeah.
Okay, next one. AMS 692 wants to know, is Neopets ever coming to Quidd, or did that get canceled?
We are working on it. But wait, did I just confirm or deny something? I don't know that we ever had publicly made a statement about it. It is being worked on, and we'll see. I mean, let me zoom out really, really big and sort of talk about it. There've been a lot of game companies, media companies, entertainment companies that have announced NFT drops and not really been met with a really welcoming response from their existing community. I don't know if it was Activision or might have been Ubisoft. I apologize if I got it wrong. There's a couple instances in the news, rather, of someone saying, "Hey, we're going to do NFTs," and then what happens is the existing community of players is like, "No, that's a cash grab. Like, how dare you do that?" And we think that with what Quidd is now and what it's going to be in 3, 6, 9 months, we're in a very interesting position to be a bit of a front door for the world of NFTs. I would argue that if we were to do a project, it would be hard for the existing community of that project to accuse Quidd of a cash grab. We've been around since NFTs were invented. We, with Cash Account, with Mintables, I think make it the simplest, easiest, fastest, cheapest place on the planet, your first digital collectible, which could have the capability of being an NFT. And so I think we're just really well positioned to work with those companies and those brands that may have a fear of a community backlash because of an NFT project. Because again, I think it's very hard to make some of those accusations stick with regard to us, given our history, and also given the fact that we are able to operate in this off-chain, on-chain world. And we've take the environmental concern with NFTs. I'm not going to wade into whether that's valid or not. Where we do have a perspective is maybe it's not up to a licensor or a licensee or like a service provider to make that decision. Maybe that should be up to the collector. And so that's where we think we're starting to get it right, in that it's up to you to decide if this is an NFT or not. It's up to you to decide if it's going to be an NFT, to which chain you decide to move it. We just feel very strongly that that's, I think, the right thing to introduce NFTs to our existing community. And we think it's also probably the right thing in the broader scheme of things to help drive broader adoption of digital collectibles, whether or not those collectibles are on-chain or off-chain. So to the Neopets question, can't really dive into specifics, but can certainly say, that's a situation where, like a few other situations, you've had a backlash from the existing community who are not predisposed towards NFTs. I think we can sort of insert ourselves into that conversation in a way that makes us a bit of a happy medium between those brands and those communities. Cool.
The next person, TMG999, said, can we please have our plain white black backgrounds for listings back? Apparently those disappeared, I think, this morning.
What? Huh? I'm not aware of that.
The backgrounds are like, they look like one of them is essentially.
I think it's only on Android though. I don't have that on iOS, so I think you guys on Android must be the only ones getting these weird.
I mean, I know
things.
I mean, you guys should go to the web. I know we pushed an update out late last night that updated the look and the feel of the listings. It looks a lot cleaner. Everyone should sort of check it out. There's a couple more refinements we have to make, but it's looking as polished as an OpenSea, or it's getting there rather. I'm not aware that we made a change in Android. Duly noted. Let's. That was not intentional.
iOS, we've apparently lost like the black and the white background. It's not on there anymore. And Android, for some reason, has some weird drawings, it looks like, and then some nightmare fodder.
Nightmare fodder?
Sure. It's like, it looks like I don't know, a Rorschach test. It's kind of like these insane. I don't know. There's a picture in the
okay,
chat.
well,
but...
can you talk to Al about that? That looks like a configuration change that we can. Okay. You can sort of unconfigure. And actually, I think would be good, maybe make a point of this, Spider. This would be good for a community poll, get everyone's feedback. But how important is it to customize the image around a listing? For those that have been with us long enough, clearly we repurposed the workflow designed to make shelfies and said, well, let's use the same elements of the workflow originally done to sort of show off one's collection, and instead like repurpose it so that it's designed to sell an item. And so what we think about a lot is like how much customization should be there for selling an item. Could we be more efficient, cut out a step, and then just kind of auto assign the color of the background? So it's an unknown thing that is very knowable. And so maybe Spider, we can do some sort of poll to find out how valuable it is to customize that image. But I would say on that point, talk to Al too and see if we can't switch the configuration back.
All right, next, Titan 3000 said, how much ETH does it cost to mint a mintable, and would it be possible to use a good balance?
Work for us, as you figured out our secret weapon. It costs 0 ETH mint to Ethereum from Quidd. And it's because of the way we built it. And it's also because of the fact that even though we have been in crypto, maybe not publicly, but privately for years, we do recognize how scary it can be. Have to jump in is kind of how scary it is. So the way we built it is we pay the gas fee on your behalf using a reserve of ETH that we just hold in our treasury. Then we take roughly that amount, give or take, and debit it from the user's cash wallet. And so in that regard, you can mint without having to first buy ETH. And the steps that removes are non-trivial, both in their number and in the overall scariness factor. If we hadn't built that, what one would have to do, and this is mostly for a US user, would be to first, and I'll get most of the steps right, but install MetaMask and establish a crypto wallet. But then the problem is you have to get ETH into that wallet, and you can't use MetaMask to buy. You can use it to swap currencies, but you can't use it to buy. So how do you get that first amount of ETH into the MetaMask wallet, which is required to pay the gas fees to mint? That's where it gets even more complicated and involves, going to an exchange like a Coinbase, creating an account. I believe you have to go through KYC. Then you have to actually get funds into that account that you can use to buy cryptocurrency with. And that could involve connecting a bank account via ACH. That can involve then moving money across the ACH rails. Then it could involve, while you're on that exchange, using your exchange account to take your USD and buy ETH. And then you have to take that ETH and kind of make that little kind of scary leap and actually send that to your MetaMask, your wallet address in MetaMask. And then you can mint. So there's a lot of those steps that like involve multiple services, that involve money, that involve some scary leaps that we've said, look, that's probably, maybe we can tighten that and sort of handle a lot of that on behalf of the person minting. So that's exactly what we've done. We don't, I think that'll become a very novel feature in the industry when we kind of fully go to market with mintables. It's one of those that we have a sneaking suspicion is just really cool and really helps solve a pain point that probably is getting in the way of a lot of people getting into NFTs. And again, even just zooming out more broadly, like a lot of people talk about like, let's take NFTs to 1 billion people, but I don't necessarily know exactly the tough decisions or things they're going to build to make that happen. We think this is one thing that we've built that we haven't seen elsewhere, that is, an entry on the side of the ledger of trying to make blockchain more accessible and at least getting your first NFT a much easier proposition than doing it directly. So yes, that is the full plan. You will cover the gas fee, and if there's a fee to you as the user, if there's a fee to you as the user, it can be debited from your cash wallet.
Follow-up question: will we have minting?
When will we have minting?
When is minting coming? Yeah, if it goes out.
I mean, soon. It's as I mentioned earlier, it's called it's like Mintables R3 is what we call it internally, and that kicked off Monday. We do have a bit of a high bar experientially. Like it's got to look good and work well on OpenSea, on Rarible. We believe that these should be trackable as a project on CryptoSlam or DApp Radar. So we obviously want real NFTs. Real NFTs mean they're in your wallet, that is your wallet, and you can list to sell them and sell them on leading marketplaces like OpenSea, and that they're fully injected into the broader NFT conversation, which means trackable and viewable on these indices like DApp Radar or like CryptoSlam. And so that's what the R3 work is all about, is figuring that out. So like it's super seamless, excuse me, when you actually mint, so that post mint there is no confusion about this being not only a real NFT but a kick-ass NFT.
Do we have any IR news?
Not right now. Great question though. You make sure to send me a note about that. We need to get a meeting on the calendar to share more about that. Well, I mean, sorry, not a meeting. We should say that's going to be the topic of the next two, voice AMAs.
Okay.
We should sort of reveal those plans in 2 weeks or so.
Okay. Let's see, are any new licenses that you can discuss?
None whatsoever. Oh, I I can't discuss any. But what I would go back is to my commentary to the Neopets question and sort of my more abstract response about how Quidd we think stands out in a crowded collectibles or crowded NFT sort of marketplace when there are lots of new solutions. We think ultimately the proposition is incredibly strong for licensors. It's very rare to find a company that can be full service and help that company not only make incredible digital collectibles, but make incredible NFTs, right? And be able to give access to multiple markets, multiple ecosystems, multiple chains, multiple form factors. So the proposition generally for, licensors we are finding is getting stronger by the day, and the conversations are getting even more positive by the day. To comment on this name versus that name, obviously that's something that we don't want to do. It's kind of a breach of trust and confidence with our first and best partners. But what I would say is that is the proposition we're finding is met very positively. So we hope to have some announcements soon, but nothing to make right now.
Okay, the next question was about band accounts. Do we have any plans to use the items in band accounts, sell them, make mega packs, giveaways? Do we have any plans at all regarding that?
I think the answer is no, and that very specifically so as not to keep any sort of confusion out there. The general thinking is no. If an account is banned, it is dependent upon the degree of the ban. It's as effective as a burn. So the notion of a bad actor has an account that has an item in it. We're going to take that because we banned the account and repackage it and sell it. We're really not inclined to do that. And so the general line of thinking is that in that particular instance, it's equivalent to a burn. Which maybe for completionists or for hoarders who want a certain print number, that's probably not great news. But at the same time, I don't like the incentives that creates, and I don't like the idea of taking someone's stuff. And so I think for those that will make any decisions differently today or in the future, that's the general thinking. Is that we will not do that, and kind of we'll take a principled stance against it. But I think, Spider, let's sort of target to get that very much publicly stated like Monday or Tuesday.
Okay. Let's see. The next thing, someone suggested passcodes for purchases over X amount, if that's something we would consider doing.
Could you repeat the question?
If we would consider adding passcodes for purchases over a certain amount where you have to enter the passcode to, I guess, okay the purchase.
Oh, I think I understand. Answer
Yes,
no.
you couldn't just accidentally, I guess, but buy something for $300.
Oh, yeah. It's a very good question. Short answer is no. We had not considered that. That may be something we need to think about. I mean, I think that me having kids, the ideal scenario is someone who shouldn't have the device.
Been there, done that.
Picks it up. Yeah, that's a really good. So no, I mean, thank you sincerely for the question. I see now the problem, but no, there isn't anything right now about that. But
put it down as a suggested feature.
Yeah, it's a very good one.
Okay. The next one was to timeline when Android will catch up to iOS. For exactly how far Android is behind iOS. So
Yeah, I don't think we can comment. I mean, there isn't an announcement to make about having like twice as many Android engineers than iOS. That's not the case. It's kind of hard to comment, on that one. What I would say though, and I hope this isn't dispiriting for the community, but we are putting more and more energy into the web. I may have talked about this, but web is very compelling because obviously the web doesn't require install. It doesn't require App Store, doesn't require download, doesn't require install. If you want to explain to a friend or family member or a neighbor what Quidd is, because they think you're crazy, having more work done on the web that opens it up to the public is your answer. You can just send them a link and they can look at Quidd on the web without having to create an account, which we think is absolutely essential for our marketing campaigns in the future. To be able to really get a sense of what happens here and the texture of it, and even what's valuable in the marketplace before you decide to commit and create an account. So the original question was around Android. What I would say is there isn't a set time frame as to when it'll be caught up or even what caught up means. But in terms of the platforms, we're getting more and more interested in the web and making that really a very public front door for all the cool stuff happening on Quidd.
Someone had suggested when we were talking about burning, if we could get a lock or a vault feature for items we don't want to accidentally.
Fun fact, we do have a lock feature. Other fun fact, it's not rolled out. So it's possibly. The issue there, just to be incredibly transparent, is it works in the back end. I can lock something in my account. But the sort of how that is rolled out, if it's rolled out in terms of like the client and the user interface, is still sort of up for debate and all that. So I would say, like, if someone's resting their happiness on lock, I mean, in 2022, I would not advise for that. But I would say that if it's something we determine is like super important and of real value to the community, the good news is like half of it is kind of built. Technically, but I mean, the other issue is like there's just like that then pulls a thread too of like wish list. Can you not wish for something, or can you control what wishes you receive? Maybe the point of locking is that you won't receive unsolicited offers or bids rather for something that could be compelling. But short answer is it's partially built, but there isn't a plan to release it this year. But again, Spider, maybe this is something we poll the community on and take a vote to see what the sentiment is.
Okay. And another part of that question was, will we start by burning all unsold items in locked channels?
Start by burning unsold items. What was the last point?
And in the locked channel, we're not selling in the primary market.
In dead channels?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh. Can you make a note to send me a note?
Okay.
There's an edge case that question raised in my brain. Interesting. Okay, I can't totally expose what thought that is that I'm having, but I'd say for all intents and purposes, yes. If it's a dead channel that has not had new content issued in it for years, there isn't going to be a moment when we're going to take old inventory off of the virtual warehouse shelves and polish it up and put it in a pack and sell it in the front of the store. The sort of end of a channel basically means, unless the channel comes alive again, that packs are not going to be sold, and that old inventory that, let's assume, quote unquote, was printed but never transacted, that's not going to see the light of day. So I think for all intents and purposes, consider that burned. It's not going to be coming to the market. And the idea that I had that was really shows how astute that question was from that collector is that's an edge case that should show up on the circulation report. I could see that actually being less of an edge case and more of something that's very, very valuable. Like, is the number one for this set still in a pack, and is that pack forever gone? It's sort of a interesting bit of data. So Spider, yeah, make a note to send me a note on that. I'll talk to some folks and see how to handle that. But yeah, I think for all intents and purposes, if someone's pining for content that was never sold for an old channel, I would consider it burned at this point.
The next person asked if we have any plans to make a favorite searches for the aftermarket, like something we can save as a favorite.
Yeah, there's a roadmap entry, I believe, called Message Center. It could grow quite substantially, where we rationalize what it means to favorite a channel, and could, in a crazy way, even pull in elements of search, sort, and filter, so that it's easier to search listings by your favorites would be one. Also, so that like recent searches can be saved. So it's very, very simple to kind of come back and start a new session where you left off the old session, like if you were hunting for something. So there is a release on the roadmap that would contemplate that. And I would say generally we know that search, sort, and filter, it's not uniform across all the things that you can search, right? You can search the directory of everything that ever existed. You can search your own collection. You can search somebody else's collection. And obviously you can search listings to find out, what is there, and able to purchase right at that moment. We know it's imperfect, and there are a few other priorities ahead of that, but I think it's not hard to say how much better it could be with a focused sprint or two. So long story short, there is a general rough area on the roadmap that would fall, that where that idea would sort of fall into that umbrella. But that's a bit kind of midterm on the horizon as opposed to right away.
Do you have time to take a few more? I know you said 45 minutes.
I do. I can do. Yeah, I can do a little bit more.
Okay. Kid Cutter said, "Are you guys working on expanding storyboards? Are they here to stay? I've never used them, and it feels like that tab could be used for more important functions." A couple other people said not to touch them.
Well, so first of all, we're not going to win, right? We cannot win with this. Like, there's going to probably be a vocal minority that loves storyboards, right? Don't take them away. I would say my personal opinion that might not rule the day, but my personal opinion is that fourth tab in the tab bar of the apps can be better used as a message center. That's also kind of sort of traditionally where you find that positioned in other apps that aggregate all of their messages into one place. That would be what I would advocate for, so that it's effectively shop, marketplace, collection, and then messages or alerts, and then your profile. I think that could take a very prominent piece of real estate that currently goes to storyboards, but that could be repurposed to go to something else that is, has a lot more value. Imagine just you list an item as an auction, and you want to know how many bids come in, and we can't deliver that to you only via push, right? That's got to be delivered to you in a centralized area where all of the activity you're subscribing to, right, can go into it. So I think there's just a lot of value in taking that prominent real estate and putting messages there. So I'm inclined that storyboards may not go away, but it doesn't get the current prominence that it enjoys, and that be replaced by something very valuable like a message center.
So we're not really working. The answer no to that. Storyboards, we're not working on adding to them because we're kind of
yeah, I apologize. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's the case. There's not anything on the roadmap that's like make it amazing. It's not to say that couldn't exist at some point. It's not to say that you couldn't look at things on the roadmap. Let's say this: things on the roadmap that are further out that maybe involve third-party developers helping us build that. I could see that happening.
I could see storefronts also kind of helping with storyboard.
Exactly.
Okay, we've gotten quite a few questions about the cash withdrawals for today, because they're usually processed a lot earlier than now, and they're not sure. They're wanting to know if we're going to be able to process them still or what time. So,
let me look at. Let me check the. Yeah, I guess what I would say is let's start tops down. I love our consistency and reliability with that. I don't think we've missed a week, save for like the holiday weeks. Where we are right now is we're working to we're working to track somebody down in Brazil. Has to press.
It's all Tim's fault, everyone. Just so you know.
Show him my angry Slack messages. No. I just want to say at a high level, it's very meaningful to me that we do this. So much so to the fact that I'm going to advocate for things like Stripe integration and a larger withdrawal processing review team, so that it moves from batch to on demand. So it's sort of like you could request on a Tuesday morning, and that request triggers the review that would then take a service level of 48 hours to give you an answer on. That's my dream, is that you don't have to wait and do it weekly. So no, this is very important to me. But this particular day, we just have a critical person that we can't get a hold of, who has to press a button. That's like step 3 in the process to proceed. So here's my hope, is that this is just about an internet outage in South America, and that this is a withdrawal that's processed successfully just a few hours later than we usually do. But I would say it's very, very much on my radar, and we're fight like mad to get it done. What I would say is it's gonna happen. It's just a matter of when it happens, and that's all itself based on when we find this person. So it could be Saturday morning, which would not be great, but it's not going to happen. Let's put it that way.
Let's see. Somebody actually suggested band accounts would they be able to be voluntarily given back to the community if the wanted? That was
if the account wanted.
Yeah, if the owner of the account wanted to give the community or give the items back, if they could do that, would it be something we would allow voluntarily?
Wanted to take it out of their alt? I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Let's discuss that. Offline, because we got to put very clear policies up about all these cases on Monday. Then I'll just sort of say it openly that's a tough one, because there is something nice and clean about not taking someone's stuff. And there's something nice and clean about having very clear terms around what's offensive behavior and the consequences of those. We can always do a better job there, and we're going to be far more public about it starting early next week as to sort of consequences, behavior, what happens. I think probably more explicit than we've ever been in the past. So I would keep an eye out for that. But I would say generally, taking someone's stuff is not something we're terribly excited about. But again, look for more precise information about that next week.
And the next couple of questions and comments were related to the what you said about the internet being we're kind of facing more on our website. Someone asked if the website would have a mobile internet friendly option. And then there were comments about people not really owning computers much anymore because they have phones and pads and they're always on the go.
True. There is it is mobile friendly. You can use Quidd on your Chrome mobile browser on your iPhone. It could be a little bit more mobile friendly, but you can already use it today. And I think on the whole, we don't want to pick a platform over the other. I think what this really is about catching up. The web is caught up to the apps, and less about abandoning the apps and putting all the chips on web. I think ultimately what we want to do is each of the platforms is different with different use cases and different sort of strong suits. We want to flex Quidd as it lives on that platform to take advantage of what makes the platform awesome. You can imagine web Quidd on a laptop, with a big display, it skew more into analytics and managing your storefront, sort of professional grade collection management tools, where you can sit down and have a session, taking advantage of a big piece of real estate, which would be a different set of use cases and features than a mobile app that has great touch functionality and that can be easily done while you sit on your couch. So long story short, we like all the platforms. It's important for the web though to catch up functionality wise, to get close to parity with the mobile apps, and then from there start to differentiate. And just an example of this, maybe the web on a laptop is the best interface for professional grade seller tools, right? And then as a result, you would build that there as opposed to having to cram that into a potentially already crowded mobile app. So long story short, it's web is going to get to parity with the apps, and web will differentiate to take advantage of being a different form factor, mobile. So can we do one more question, Spider, and then I got to run?
The last one I've seen has been asked a couple times. It's just in regards to the full set sales. If we have plans for that soon, if it'll come out around the time of burning, or of a timeline.
It won't come out around the time of burning, but being able to deal with multiple prints, and make those part of a single transaction. Yes, we were very much interested in that. That's hidden somewhere in the roadmap. It's not going to come at the time of burning, just to set expectations.
Okay. But we've got it planned, just not quite yet.
Well, exactly. And so, okay, I got to run, but I want to thank everyone for joining. I love the voice AMA. I apologize, I'm a little bit under the weather, so that's why you're getting low energy, Michael.
Drink some tea. You've got a cough.
I know. But as I've said last week, I'll say again this week. I'm so excited everyone was here that was able to join. Literally, I've never been more excited about what we're doing, and the things that I think I can see about what's on the horizon just make me so thrilled. So don't take, my low energy, sick voice as any indication that what's in the works makes me probably the happiest I've been with Quidd in even just the last 6 years. And again, you couldn't be there without the loyalty and commitment of our collectors and our community. So thanks as always for quitting with us.
Everybody seems to really like this format, so I think we'll definitely keep it up. Thank you for being here.
I love it. Okay, thanks all.
Bye. Okay, and someone had asked about seasons, when there would be a new season. I just wanted to address that. I didn't know if Michael would actually know, but we have a new season coming very, very soon. I don't know if it'll be today, probably more in a couple days, but there is definitely a new season coming very, very soon. So that is something I actually did know. I can't tell you what channel it's in. So I will say we're not going to have our weird season off thing with stacks. I can give you that. So that's not happening just yet, but something's happening. Did you have anything you wanted to add, Tim?
No, you handled it this time, so it was nice.
Yeah, well, it was because we asked questions ahead of time. That was really helpful. So I was able to just read off of the sheets, and then I just tried to jot questions down as I saw them coming in. So that helped quite a bit. So we should probably do that, I would think, maybe from now on, and you'd leave it open all week. Maybe we can just start one like today or anything we didn't cover.
I'll start a new one.
Be awesome, because that definitely helped a lot. Plus, I was able to take notes, and I, of course, have to type all the notes and send to Michael, but it's helpful to me instead of having to go back through everything and try to get questions and answers there. But that worked out a lot better. Of course, now I have to send notes to everybody on the Quidd team, so good times.
There is one thing I think maybe I wasn't listening, because that is possible. I'm trying to plan next week. So in the app and the update for the deposits, it says free deposits for limited time.
Okay, I saw something.
Do we know, like, is because I know like for the app, so the app stores, I know that like both Google and Apple typically they'll charge most of the apps a percentage of. So that's why I think the question came up because I know people were talking about that before.
What is the question exactly?
Does that what exactly does that mean? Does that mean at some point we're gonna have fees?
Oh, I see. Good question. I don't know. I don't think so, but I'll have to verify it because I don't know if they charge us for deposits. And I think that they do, but I don't think that Michael ever wanted to charge anything. I think he's been very, very adamant that we not ever charge for deposits, but I don't know that that's, I can't say that for definite, but I can ask and see if it's at any point in the future. Let me write. So will there ever be charges on the deposits?
Yeah.
I've seen a
Because the
question.
verbiage, since the verbiage in the app changed, because I don't think it said that before, since it says free deposits for a limited time, that's kind of what got
I
a lot
see.
of people asking.
Okay. Well, I'll find out and try to get back to you. I should be able to get an answer today. I had seen something about, I think Hi Ben said something about the free credits we were getting or door deposits or whatever, about what that was. I don't have that print to look. Oh, confusion lately around free deposits. It would be cool if there could be clarification as to what it means. I think that's the same thing you just said. I just read it wrong. Okay, cool. I'll find out and get back to you guys so that you'll know. Anything else?
I think I'm good.
I still have to go look at our questions for our vidcast, so look at that. We should schedule one soon. Maybe
Hopefully
not
next-
soon, because you'll be gone next week, right?
Right?
Maybe next weekend, or when will you be back?
I should be back. We'll try to coordinate.
Okay, we can do that offline, so it doesn't have to.
Alrighty. Talk
Okay.
to you later.
All right. Thank you guys for being here. Bye.